I always wanted a quiet life. I did not want big things. I just wanted peace. I wanted someone to care for me, someone who made me feel safe. I did not want a big house or a fancy car. I just wanted love. That was all. I lived alone in a small apartment. I worked in a school kitchen. I washed dishes, cleaned tables, and helped make food. The work was not easy, but I did it with a smile. I liked being kind. I liked helping others. One day after work, I went to a small party at my friend Emily's house. She was the only friend I saw often. She was funny and warm. She said, "Come tonight. You never go out." So I went. There were not many people there. I sat in a corner and drank orange juice. Then a man walked in. He had dark hair and blue eyes. He was tall. He looked around and came to sit near me. His name was Daniel. He said, "Why are you sitting here alone?" I said, "I don't like noise." He laughed and said, "Me too." We talked for a long time. He made me laugh. He told funny stories. At the end of the night, he asked for my number. I gave it to him. The next day, he sent a message. I was happy. We talked every day. After a week, we went for a walk in the park. He held my hand. He told me I looked nice. I smiled so much that day. After 1 month, he asked, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" I said yes. At first, Daniel was sweet. He sent good morning messages. He asked how my day was. He told me he liked my smile. I started to think, maybe this is real love. I told Emily, he is kind. I feel happy. But slowly, he changed. He stopped texting in the morning. I asked, "Are you okay?" He said, "I am busy. Don't ask silly things." I said sorry. One night I cooked dinner. He said he would come at 6. I waited. He came at 8. He said, "Why do you care about time so much?" I said, "I just wanted to eat together." He said, "You sound like my mother." Another day, I wore a red shirt. He said, "Why do you wear that color?" "It is too bright." I liked the shirt, but I changed it. After that, I wore only gray and black. He started to tell me what to wear, how to talk, and what to do. He said, "Don't wear makeup." He said, "Don't laugh too loud." He said, "Don't talk to that man again." I listened. I thought it would make him happy. But even when I did everything he wanted, he was not happy. One day, I saw an old friend at the bus stop. We talked for 2 minutes. That night I told Daniel. He asked, "Why did you talk to him?" I said, "He just said hello." Daniel said, "Don't lie to me." He didn't speak to me for 3 days. I cried each night. I looked at my phone again and again, but there was no message. I felt like I had done something wrong, but I didn't know what. When he called again, he said, "You hurt me." I said sorry. He did not say sorry to me. Not once. Sometimes he was nice. He brought me my favorite juice. He smiled and said, "You are lucky to have me." I smiled too, but in my heart, I felt small. One day, I had a cold. I told him, "I feel sick. Can we talk later?" He said, "You always have problems." Then he hung up. That night, I could not sleep. My head hurt. My heart hurt more. I stopped singing in the kitchen. I stopped drawing little flowers on paper like I used to. I stopped calling my sister. She asked, "Why don't you visit anymore?" I said, "I am just busy." But the truth was, I was sad. My birthday came. I waited all day. No message. No call. I called him at night. I said, "It's my birthday." He said, "So what? Do you want a gift?" Then he laughed and said, "You act like a child." I said, "I just wanted to talk to you." He said, "Good night," and ended the call. I sat with a small cake I bought for myself. I did not eat it. The next day at work, Emily looked at me and said, "You look tired." I said, "I am just not sleeping well." She said, "Are you happy?" I did not answer. That evening, I stood in front of the mirror. I looked at my face. My eyes looked sad. My skin looked dull. I did not look like the girl I used to be. Daniel came over. He looked at me and said, "What's wrong now?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "You always look unhappy. Maybe you are the problem." Then he turned on the TV. I stood in the kitchen and looked at the wall. I felt like I was not there, like I was a shadow. Later I said, "Daniel, can we talk?" He said, "What is it now?" I said, "I feel like I am not myself anymore." He laughed and said, "You think too much." I wanted to scream, but I stayed quiet. One night I dreamed I was walking on a long road. It was dark. I was alone. I woke up and cried. The next morning I said to myself, "Why am I still here?" But I had no answer. That day, he sent a message. It said, "I am coming tonight. Make something nice." I looked at the message for a long time. I did not answer. I sat on the bed and thought, I do everything for him. I give and give, but he only takes. He never asks how I feel. He never says sorry. Then I thought, this is not love. And for the first time, I said the words out loud. I am sharing my story, hoping they reach someone. Are you there? Are you listening? If so, let me know. Drop a hello, or tell me where you're listening from. Just knowing you're here means everything. That night, I did not cook dinner. I sat on the floor and looked at my phone. I thought about all the times I said sorry. I thought about all the times I cried alone. I asked myself, why do I stay with him? I did not have a clear answer. Maybe I was scared. Maybe I still hoped he would change. But deep in my heart, I knew something was wrong. Daniel came to my house at 7. He walked in and looked around. Why is there no food? He asked. I said, I did not cook today. He looked angry. You had one job, he said. You can't even do that? I sat still. I did not speak. I was tired of fighting. I was tired of trying. He looked at me again. "You are lazy," he said. Then he sat on the sofa and turned on the TV. I went to the bedroom and closed the door. I sat on the bed and looked out the window. The sky was dark. My heart felt heavy. I wanted to leave, but I did not know how. I remembered a day from last year. We were walking near the lake. Daniel held my hand. He smiled at me. I thought he loved me. I thought we would be happy. That memory felt like a dream now, a far dream. Next morning, I went to work early. I cleaned the tables. I washed many dishes. I did not speak much. I was thinking all the time. Emily came to me and said, "You look very sad. What is wrong?" I smiled and said, "I am fine." But my smile was not real. She looked at me for a moment. "You are not fine," she said. "You can talk to me." I wanted to talk. I wanted to cry, but the words stayed inside. I was not ready. That evening, I went home and looked around my room. I saw the pictures on the wall. I saw old books and clothes. I saw the small red cup I loved. I thought, I used to feel happy here. Why not now? Daniel called me. He said, "Where are you? Why are you not answering?" I said, "I was thinking." He said, "Don't waste time thinking. Just do what I say." Then he ended the call. I sat in silence. My hands were cold. I looked at my phone and thought, is this love? One day we went to a small cafe. I wanted to talk. I said, "Daniel, do you still love me?" He looked at me and said, "What kind of question is that?" I said, "I don't feel happy." He said, "You are too emotional. You need to stop asking stupid things." I looked down at the table. I wanted to leave, but I did not. A week later, I had a cold. My head hurt. I stayed in bed. I sent him a message. "I don't feel well. Can you come?" He did not reply. He did not call. 2 days passed. No message. No call. I felt weak and alone. When I got better, I sent him one more message. I said, "You didn't check on me." He wrote back, "I am not your nurse." I read the message again and again. My hands shook. That night, I made a small list in my mind, not on paper, just in my heart. I thought about how he spoke to me. I thought about all the times I waited. I thought about how I felt. And I thought about one thing. I don't want to live like this. The next time he came to my house, I opened the door but did not smile. He asked, "What's wrong now?" I said, "We need to talk." He said, "I don't have time for drama." I looked at him. "I am not happy," I said. "I don't feel safe. I don't feel loved." He laughed. "You always complain." I said, "I am tired of feeling small." He said, "You are nothing without me." I looked into his eyes. "Then I want to be nothing," I said. He was quiet. He did not expect that. "I want to be alone," I said. "I want peace. I want respect." He said, "You will miss me." I said, "Maybe." but I will also find myself again. He did not shout. He did not say sorry. He just walked out. When the door closed, I sat on the floor. I cried, not because I lost him, but because I found my voice. It was not easy. I still thought about him. I still remembered the good days, but I also remembered the pain. Each day after that, I felt a little stronger. I wore the red shirt again. I walked in the sun. I called my sister. I laughed with Emily. I looked in the mirror and smiled a small smile. I told myself, "You are enough." I did not talk to Daniel after he left. I did not send a message. I did not call. I cleaned the house. I made tea. I opened the windows. I sat in the quiet. I listened to the birds. The house felt different. It felt calm. It was quiet, but I liked the quiet. The first night I cried. I cried alone. I sat on the bed and held a pillow. I looked at the wall. I thought, did I do the right thing? But then I thought about the pain. I thought about all the times I waited for him. I thought about the times he shouted. I thought about the cold words. Then I said to myself, yes, you did the right thing. The next day, I went to work. I smiled a little. Emily looked at me and said, "You look more free." I said, "I feel tired, but I feel light." She gave me a warm look. "I know what you mean," she said. After work, I walked home slowly. I looked at the trees. I looked at the sky. I saw a little bird on a branch. I smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. That night, I made soup. I sat at the table alone, but I did not feel sad. I felt okay. The room was warm. The candle on the table made soft light. I looked around the room. It was small, but it was mine. No one was telling me what to do. No one was shouting. The next morning, I opened the window and let the sun in. I made tea. I sat near the window. I watched people walk outside. Some walked fast. Some walked slow. Some walked alone. Some walked in pairs. I watched them with quiet eyes. I thought about the past. I thought about all the days I felt small. I thought about the times I said sorry when I did nothing wrong. I thought, I was not weak. I just wanted love. That thought helped me. Daniel did not call for a few days. But then one evening, he sent a short message. It said, "Hi." I looked at it. I did not answer. The next day, another message came. "Can we talk?" I did not reply. On the third day, he called. I did not pick up the phone. I put the phone on the table and went to the kitchen. I drank water. I sat down. My heart was beating fast, but I did not cry. I just felt quiet. Later, he sent another message. "I miss you." I read the message. I felt nothing. I did not miss the pain. I did not miss the cold house. I did not miss the waiting. One day, I saw his name again on my phone. This time I answered. He said, "Can we talk?" I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want to come back." I said, "No." He said, "I will change." I said, "You said that before." He said, I made mistakes. I said, yes. And I lived with those mistakes. Then he said, I miss the old days. I said, I don't. The old days were full of pain. He said, don't you love me? I said, I loved you, but I love myself more now. Then I ended the call. I did not feel sad. I did not feel strong. I just felt calm. That weekend, I cleaned my closet. I gave away old clothes. I washed the floor. I opened the curtains. The light came in. The house felt fresh. I took a walk to the market. I bought apples and bread. I smiled at the old woman who sold fruit. She smiled back. She said, you look happy today. I said, yes, I feel free. Each day felt better. Not perfect, just better. One evening, I saw a little notebook I had not used in a long time. I opened it. It was empty. I picked up a pen. I did not write about dreams. I just wrote, I am proud of you. Then I closed the book and put it away. The next day at work, I met someone new. His name was Ben. He worked in the same kitchen. He was quiet. He was kind. He smiled when he spoke. He said, do you need help with the boxes? I said, yes, please. He helped me. I said, thank you. He said, you are welcome. Ben started talking to me more. We worked together. We cleaned the tables together. He asked simple questions. He listened when I spoke. One day he said, you have a soft smile. I said, thank you. He said, you are easy to talk to. I said, so are you. He asked, do you want to walk to the bus stop together? I said, okay. We walked slowly. We talked about music and food. I said, I like tea. He said, I like coffee. We laughed. I did not feel nervous. I did not feel scared. I felt peaceful. The next week, Ben brought me tea. He said, I remembered you like tea. I smiled and said, you have a good memory. We sat in the break room. We talked more. I learned that Ben liked to draw. He liked the sea. He liked quiet places. I liked that. But I did not fall in love right away. I did not try to make him love me. I just liked the calm. I liked the soft friendship. One night I stood near my window. The stars were out. I thought about Daniel. Not with pain, just with peace. He was part of my past, but he was not my future. I smiled. I was not waiting for love. I was not chasing it. I was building peace. Now, when I walk to work, I walk tall. I do not look down. I do not feel small. I do not say sorry for being myself. Sometimes Ben walks beside me. Sometimes I walk alone. But in both moments, I feel strong. Love may come again, or maybe not. But now I know one thing for sure. I will never stay where I feel small. I will never stay where I am not heard. I will always choose peace.